Good morning, Bulldogs. My name is Mr. Hornbacher. I'm your ASB activities coordinator, and today we are blessed to have our special guest with us here, Mrs. Beckler. We're going to be talking about something that's really hitting our county hard right now, and it's actually hitting the country hard. But that's overdoses of fentanyl. We were honored to have a panel of two parents who've lost their children to fentanyl, and a former student who was fortunate enough to get himself out of this situation, but he was walking down that dark road of chemical dependency and the possibility he's actually, we'll go into it in the video, but he actually overdosed twice and fortunately did not pass away. So that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Miss Beckler, and we're going to break this whole video down for you.
Okay, hello Bulldogs. I am Miss Beckler. I've met a few of you on campus here, and we're going to go starting with Tyler's video. And so Tyler will kind of start talking about his experiences becoming addicted to drugs and what that path was like for him. And then we'll be kind of jumping in here or there to kind of elaborate a little bit.
So when I was in high school, I really didn't enjoy it. I just kind of showed up, well, sometimes, and just did the bare minimum to get by. I hated the high school culture. I always felt really anxious here, and it was definitely adding to the stresses in my life big time. When I was a freshman, I really started getting into my drug use and was really enamored with the idea of partying and being very carefree, which was what I guess it's what I've always wanted, was just to be carefree and just to be a kid again. And when high school hit, I think reality hit pretty hard, that it was it was game time. It was time to really get settle down and focus on school. But that never really worked for me because of the other traumas that I was dealing with, and I was also in a pretty serious relationship that wasn't doing me any good in high school. I thought I had it all figured out, but I really didn't. And yeah, I continued partying through high school, and when I turned 17, I was a junior, and that's when cocaine started kind of rolling around at the parties at high school. When I was a kid, I never thought that I was going to do drugs. My parents made me and my cousins all promise that we're never going to do drugs. And we all said, yeah, of course, because we knew that they were bad, but we didn't know how enticing they were, especially for a high school student that really has no idea what to do with his life at that point. And it's a really quick and easy way to just forget about everything. But no, I never dreamed that it would ever get as far as it did. So the biggest things that I was dealing with through high school was, one, my parents' divorce really affected me. It affected me a whole lot more than I ever admitted to, and it took me a long time to realize that. And the second one that really contributed to the pain that I had going on inside was lack of real connection with other people. All my friendships were really superficial and meant nothing. And the third was, I was in a pretty toxic relationship with this girl, and I don't know, that was probably one of the bigger contributors to me relying on drugs to relax, because it was just so stressful having to try to juggle all these things and also try to make your parents proud. It seemed really impossible at the time, and partying was it was really unhealthy, but it was a good outlet at the time, I thought. There was definitely, with every high that I ever got, there was an equal or greater low. especially with cocaine. It was, when you do it, you feel on top of the world, but then, for the next, I don't know, you're feeling good for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then once that wears off, you feel absolutely miserable for sometimes 12 hours. Just, it's quite honestly the worst feeling that I've ever experienced in my life is coming down from cocaine.
Okay, so you've heard Tyler talk a little bit about his experiences and why he used drugs. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of reasons why people use. A lot of times it's to escape problems that are too overwhelming. So it could be stress, it could be anxiety, could be a trauma that you've gone through. It could be because you're experimenting and you want to have fun and you're trying to see what that might be like. And I know a lot of you have heard a lot of things about drugs and not using drugs. But what really happens in your brain, you get a very large release of dopamine when you use drugs, larger than a normal activity that would be pleasurable, like eating, hanging out with your friends, doing other things. What that does in your brain, it makes your brain want more of that level of intensity. And you can't get that level of intensity doing regular activities. So you seek out more drugs and harder doses. And that path, we all know where that can end. And currently with fentanyl being cut with a lot of pills that are on the market right now, a lot of people are unintentionally overdosing because they don't realize if they're trying to get a Xanax that it might be cut with fentanyl, and then they die or have a very serious reaction.
When I was partying in school, weed and alcohol were my thing, and I always drew the line at Coke. I said, "Oh, I'll never do that." And then eventually, when it showed up, I did do it, and yes. So what happened was I had ran out of money for just anything. I spent the last of it on drugs, and then I did the rest of the drugs, and then I was out of drugs. I had no way to feel happy again, and I don't know, it was just, I had spent those 2 days curled up in my bed, really sick because I was withdrawing from fentanyl, and just wanted the depression to be over, the anxiety to be over. I just wanted the hell that I was living in to be over. And it is kind of interesting, but one of the reasons that I didn't just immediately do it was because I was thinking of family. I'm sorry. Yeah, probably the biggest contributing factor as to why I didn't make the decision right away was because I was thinking about, I would break my family, and I just couldn't really go through with it. But then there was a point where I just had no self-worth, so there was a point where I convinced myself that they wouldn't care. I was that far down the rabbit hole of depression that I had convinced myself that literally nobody would care if I did that. The night that my mom offered to come pick me up, and so did my dad, and there's no rhyme or reason why I picked my dad. I just did. But he picked me up, and I spent that week withdrawing from fentanyl and not using even, Tylenol to help with the pain or the sickness or the aches or the insomnia or the vomiting or the shaking. I didn't take anything. In hindsight, I probably should have, but I did it clean, as they call it. And anyway, after I had kind of gotten it out of my system, for the most part, I made the decision to go to rehab. And I don't think there was really a reason for me doing that. I just think that, I had nothing to lose, I had moved out of my apartment. I had no money. All I had was just a few possessions and my cat. And so I figured, I don't want to lose my cat, so I might as well go and, get better. I just celebrated my year clean, and I am in school. I'm doing full-time school, part-time job, and I mean, just in a year, I've taken my life from almost going to end to now I have a purpose, and I'm on the right track to live a healthy and fulfilling life, and that's something that I never thought that I would be able to find.
Hi, Bulldogs. This is Miss Brem, and I just want to thank you for watching this presentation that we've been working hard on. This has been a tough couple of years, and I just want you to know, if you are thinking of ending your life, or if you're thinking you can't go on anymore, we've got you covered. Come see us. Email any of your teachers. There is a number at the end of this presentation. Call the hotline. You must know how wonderful and worthy you are, and because of you, I exist. You are loved, you are worthy. Get in touch with us. Or if you have a friend that you're worried is buying pills at parties or is thinking these horrible thoughts, we can get you help. And without you, my life isn't complete. Thank you.